भाई गेस्ट कहाँ गए सारे?
So we were taken to the breakout room and then we are back here.
Hello everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yeah, you're audible.
Yes.
Okay. So good morning to everyone. Welcome to Neev, the Visionaries Conclave, a distinguished event hosted by Indian Institute of Management, Kashipur. The event's central theme is transformative leadership, nurturing change, fostering growth. And we are very pleased to introduce the topic of our discussion for today, that is balancing leadership dynamics, growth management, and entrepreneurial innovation. We look forward towards a thoughtful exploration of how transformative leadership insight ignites growth and ensures the seamless functioning of organizations. We'd like to welcome our moderator for today, who is Mr. S.K. Murshid Alam, alumni of IIM Kashipur 2019 batch and currently working as a credit risk and portfolio management analyst at MUFG Bank. We'd like to thank him for his expertise and for joining us in a very short period of time. The stage is all yours, Murshid Alam, sir. You can continue.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good morning. As Jatin said, the theme for today's discussion would be transformative leadership, nurturing change, fostering growth. And we would like to introduce our esteemed panelists. First, I would like to introduce Mr. Gowrav Vishwakarma, who is an entrepreneur and a leader with over 23 years of experience. He holds expertise in technical and management fields. He is a passionate towards managing large teams and complex projects. He is also the co-founder and CTO of Frendy. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to welcome Mr. Ravinder Kulsari, who is a chartered accountant and a business leader. He has held pivotal roles in highly reputable firms. He holds knowledge of multiple ERPs and has led teams successfully covering broad functional areas. He is also the co-founder of Prozo AI. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Shreyans Sancheti, who is a BITS Pilani graduate. He has a deep passion for finance, global equity, derivative markets, and trade. He has co-founded BlueLearn, which is one-stop platform that allows students to network and build new skills. Welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Raghavan Venkatesan, who is a techno-functional specialist at Digital Financial Services. During his tenure at NPCI, he has co-created the world's first and largest interoperable biometric payment platforms powering the government of India. He is the founder of DigiBriddhi Technologies Limited. I welcome you, sir.
Thanks.
Next, Mr. Shikhar Chanda, who has expertise in various areas such as customer relations, web design, business development, and advertising, to name a few. He has founded the Tarzan Way, which is a platform allowing like-minded individuals to share their love for travel and Indian culture. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Adarsh Rao, who is an entrepreneur and an interior design enthusiast. He is passionate about solving complex problems faced in the society. He is the co-founder and CEO of Minimalists, a startup that focuses on making people's lives comfortable and convenient while adding a touch of aesthetics. Welcome to Neev, sir. And last but not the least, I would like to introduce Mr. Smriti Bhatt Deora, who holds a master's degree in computer science from UCLA. She works in various domains.
कौन सी कंपनी है?
I'm sorry.
कौन सी कंपनी है?
Which, I'm sorry.
I think some people have to go on mute. Adarsh and Rishabh.
I'm sorry. Let me introduce
Yeah.
you again. I'm sorry. Mr.
Hello.
Smriti Bhatt Devra, who holds a master's degree in computer science from UCLA. She works
Hello.
in various domains.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, Adarsh. Let me go again. I'm sorry. She works in various domains such as business development, marketing, talent acquisition,
Hello.
and customer relations. She is the co-founder and COO of Advantage Club Technologies, Inc., a global platform for employees' engagement and financial wellness. I welcome you all for the first edition of Neev. So the topic for today, I guess everyone is audible and audio is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Everyone is
Yes.
audible.
let's
The audio
move
is also
forward.
clear.
So as the
Sir, just a minute. Adarsh Rao sir is having some audio problems. Can we confirm with him?
Hello, Murshid. Am I audible?
yeah, you are audible now.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Hello. Thank you so much for introducing me. And hi everyone. Good morning. Adarsh Rao this side. And I'm co-founder 𝐶𝐞𝐬 Hello.
Yeah,
My voice is clear.
your voice is clear.
I think there is some network issue. Okay. Yeah. So I have started my journey as an entrepreneur in like 2018, and I have started my first venture, which is like their name is like Next Milk, which is like a dairy tech startup, and the second one was like area.com, which is like a property rental property startup. So due to COVID, both startup got like shut down, and another startup I started like 2020 during COVID. And currently we are operating across 17 cities with like 1800 of professionals. Right now we have delivered more than 11,000 of projects across 17 cities. Currently we have generated revenue more than like 300 this year. Hello.
Hello, Adarsh sir. Your actually
Yeah,
camera, you are not visible, sir.
I don't know. There's
The
some
video is not visible,
technical
sir.
glitch.
Sir, till the issues get resolved, let us move forward uh, with our moderator, and he'll start off. Um, Murshid Alam sir will had introduced everyone, sir. Let's begin with Murshid Alam's flow.
Yeah. Hi. Uh, so the topic for today, or the theme for today, is transformative leadership, nurturing change, and fostering growth. In the modern post-COVID world, as we can see, lots and lots of startups, as well as new organizations, they have risen, and basically they have kind of become a job creator in the current economy. And at this juncture, we are recently seeing more and more startups are coming up, as well as startups are going down. But the one thing which, in my experience in the corporate world, which I have experienced, is that a proper leadership that basically fosters the growth of the organization, that is very much crucial. So on this topic, let's embark upon the journey on a discussion about how the individual panelists, they themselves, have embarked on their journey, and let them share their insights on the same. First, I would like to start with Mr. Gowrav Vishwakarma. If you could kindly enlighten us about your journey and how things are, and your opinion on the same, it would be very helpful.
Thank you, Murshid. Entitlement is like kind of a big word. We are all on the same page. I think कुछ ऐसा विशेष नहीं है जो मैंने अचीव कर लिया है जो दुनिया में मेरे से पहले लोगों ने नहीं किया है बाद में नहीं करेंगे. We are just on learning. Yes, I'll share definitely. Basically, so I've seen multiple things in my life. I've been a serial entrepreneur. So I bootstrapped and failed. I have bootstrapped and succeeded. And then I have bootstrapped with funding, with a growth mindset. And then we have bootstrapped with funding to sustain. Last two things are with Frendy. So we have to, so look, understand that the topic. It's a very interesting topic you are seeing. You know what you are doing, what you're trying to make your students understand that growth management and entrepreneurial innovation. Innovation you need when you need something sustainable and when you don't have much resources. Then only when you have a lot of money, you don't need a lot of innovation. You have time of 10 years to innovate something. You are not in urge to innovate something, but when you are limited on funding, and at the same time your topic says the growth management. So I think it's a confusion state in the market right now. Grow करना है कि नहीं करना है? 3-4 साल पहले की जो madness चली थी ना, I see bell curve in last 10 years. It was going on peak and then going downwards right now, the funding and growth demand. So it's where I see the topic is coming. Kya hai? Is it a temporary dip or it's a downward trend going right now? करना क्या है नए IIM के बच्चों को? That's what I feel, and that's a good point to start. So Frendy is like an social commerce company. We are an e-commerce venture of big giants like Nebula and Pacifica. Nebula is already $200 million household sold company. Pacifica is $5 billion Silicon Valley based out of company. We are also 24 million company right now. मगर मैं गुजरात से हूँ, बेसिकली यहाँ पे गुजरातियों के साथ काम कर रहा हूँ, तो मुझे एक चीज पता है कि फंडिंग के भरोसे इतना नहीं रहना है. 2019-20 when the madness of this funding was and valuation was going on, we received calls from many VCs, but we were very selective कि नहीं, product market fit आपका नहीं है, scale मत करो अभी. So why we need funding? I'm talking about this bell curve, where it's going and what we think. तो जब ये चल रहा था ना सारा फंडिंग का झमेला, तो हमको लग रहा था कि कितनी फंडिंग लेनी है, कितनी नहीं लेनी है. तो समझ आया कि फंडिंग लेनी क्यों है. फंडिंग आपको दो ही पर्पस से चाहिए प्राइमरीली. पहला, आपको प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट नहीं है, आपको पैसा चाहिए ताकि आप इवेंचुअली वहां तक पहुंच जाओगे. यू जस्ट नीड राइट टाइम फॉर द फंडिंग, और यू हैव अ मॉडल दैट यू जस्ट वांट टू ग्रो इन द मार्केट, जस्ट गो एंड जस्ट ग्रो इट. तो हम जितने भी मार्केट में हमारे कंपटीटर्स को देख रहे थे, तब तो लग रहा था कि यार आप एक लाइफ टाइम वैल्यू पे 100 रुपए 500 रुपए 1% पे बर्न कर रहे हो, एंड यू आर स्केलिंग दैट थिंग. Like it's like scaling your errors, like not multiplying. So we were not in favor of that thing from purely Gujarati mindset. हमारी दो कंपनीज जो बाकी की हैं वो सब बूटस्ट्रैप्ड हैं, और Frendy हमने पहली बार ट्राई किया फंडिंग लेके कुछ करने का, तो 6.3 मिलियन हमने लिया है, एंड स्टिल वी आर काइंड ऑफ नाउ वी आर ओके कि एक प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट अपने पास तैयार है, इसको अब स्केल करते हैं. नेक्स्ट फंडिंग वी माइट टेक सम बिग राउंड और सम बिगर विचेस लाइक 10-50 मिलियन. So leadership, you are very right, the topic is very relevant nowadays. अभी पता नहीं पड़ रहा है कि ये डिप है, ये वापस इसी ट्रेंड पे जाने वाला है, या हमें तैयार किसके लिए होना है, ग्रोथ के लिए करना है या कुछ इनोवेशन करना है जब सस्टेनेबल बिजनेस चाहिए. आई थिंक इट्स अ राइट टॉपिक. हमको लगता है ये लंबा ट्रेंड रहने वाला है, सो सस्टेनेबल बिजनेस के ऊपर फोकस रहने वाला है. इट वाज जस्ट इन पीक in the last 5 years. So the journey has been exciting. As we move forward, we'll share more about the things. So this is we right now, and I would love to hear other panelists also. It's this panel discussion. So that's it for now. Let's move forward step by step.
Yeah, sure, sir. And one thing which you have mentioned very clearly, that is the sustainability part. So that is very relevant in this modern economic context, even in the startup ecosystem today. The reason being, if you are not sustainable, then growth for the sake of growth in future, it becomes very difficult to control. And then expectation comes in, and then the growth part, it basically slows down, and then there are problems. So thank you for your insight. And next, I would like to ask for the insights from Mr. Ravinder Kulsari. If you could share your insights about the leadership, the growth, and how leadership and means how being a leader, you can ensure that your organization is growing properly and sustainably.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. So I'm Ravinder Kulsari. I'm the co-founder of Proso.ai. And we are launching a platform called workwall.com, which is a marketplace for tech firms to collaborate with each other. So as a leadership part, if I am the co-founder, what is my main role? Do I go and manage the project? Do I look out the delivery, etc.? The answer is no. As a leader, we have only one role, that is to make the sell, to go in the market and make sure we have a sufficient pipeline, sales opportunities for next 1 or 2 years. So that's the main role of the leader, that you grow your organization. At the same time, you can't grow your organization if you don't have the right product, as Gaurav was saying. So there is a kind of innovation which you need to bring into the market. One is obviously you can follow the pattern. You're doing consulting, you've got open AI, you've got so many AI products, you can go and do a consultative kind of sell. But the other sell is where you are bringing some kind of innovation to the market. And that's where you have to balance your approach. And that's where I find if you put this topic, should I put my money into the innovation or not? And answer is always going to be yes. You have to do some kind of innovation. You have to build a product which is going to add value to the market. So I would just start with this panel discussion of saying, as a leader, our primary goal is to grow the organization. And at the same time, growth can't happen if I don't have any innovation which can add value to the market. I'll let other panel bring some more points. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your insights. Next, I would like the opinion of Mr. Shreyansh Sancheti. If you could kindly let the students know about your journey and what is your opinion in this matter.
Sure. Thanks, Mashad. Happy to be here. So my journey, I was born and brought up in US, lived there for the first 15, 16 years of my life, and then moved to Bangalore for the last 10, 12 years. And I think I had the fortune to see and meet great people at a college like BITS Pilani, which is where I met my co-founder. And I think one of the biggest perks of being in a good college is the availability of students around you and having a great co-founder or just founding team. So we started early in our first, second year of college, played around with a few different ideas, building chatbots on WhatsApp, B2B SaaS tools, and nothing really stuck out. But around 2020, during the COVID wave, we realized that, we were all struggling to get internships. And so we thought, why not, let's build something which could provide a better internship getting experience than the traditional internshala, which is probably one of the biggest platforms today, right? And once we dove deeper into the problem, we realized that there are hundreds of students in thousands of colleges who are smart, qualified, but are not getting that access to get the good internships or freelancing opportunities. So we launched BlueLearn around 2020, which was a place where students can come, learn a new skill, and get their first internship or freelancing gig. That started picking up traction. We got about 40,000 users instantly within the first couple of months of launch. And that's when we started getting attention from some VCs. And we raised our pre-seed and seed round in 2021 and 2022, a total of about 4.5 million. And since then, contrary to what everyone is saying, we have had that growth mindset. I'm nowhere as near experienced as the other panelists over here, is being a first-time founder. And some of the major things that we're looking at is growth at all costs, right? And thankfully, we were privileged enough to have capital and money in the bank. So we were able to experiment with multiple things. But just picking up from what Gaurav and Ravinder also mentioned earlier is that innovating is extremely important. Companies like, let's say, ShareChat launched 21 different consumer-facing products before they came across their, iconic product, which now has 500 million monthly active users. Another example would be TikTok's parent company, ByteDance. Every year launches 50 to 60 fully formed apps, which die out. And after 5-6 years of launching, that many apps came across TikTok, which again changed short form content. So innovation is at the center of any great startup, and it's innovate or die is something that we believe in greatly. But I think that's it from my side. Would love to hear others talk as well.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your journey. Next, I would pivoting on your topic of innovation. I can't stress enough about the role of NPCI and post the demonetization, the advent of UPI. And in this regard, I would like some insights from Mr. Raghavan Venkatesan, if he could share his journey and his opinion on this.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Murshid. So welcome to everyone on a Sunday morning. And that's what makes IIMs and IIM. You're put through the grill every now and then. And that's what, these are the most essential qualities which you will develop at a B school more than the subjects. Okay, coming back to the topic. So I am not, I started my entrepreneurial journey after good 16 years of putting in, experience across IDFC Bank. I was a founding member of IDFC Bank. I was the founding member of NPCI. Also the founding member of the Common Service Center Network of Government of India. So my 2 cents on the topic, that you're trying to strike a balance between growth and sustainability. I think both are equally important, and one can't generalize this. Suppose you are a startup working on some space technology. Your gestation period will be average 6 to 7 years before you can actually find a product market fit. If you are in so it depends from domain to domain. It depends upon what kind of use cases you're solving. In the case of DGV, so just to give you, a minute background about what we do. DGV is India's first dairy-focused fintech and a marketplace. So we act as a conduit between BFSI and the dairy ecosystem in India. So for the dairy farmers and dairy micro enterprise, whatever BFSI opportunities exist, we make that available to them at doorstep, and that's what we specialize in. So my 2 cents on this topic would be leadership. It will differ from the type of startup you are, the space you are. Every time, the stage of the startup will also dictate what kind of different leadership forms one has to take. When you are at a pre-seed stage, you will be at a different metrics. Once you grow beyond that, there will be different metrics, and you will have to constantly also look out as to what kind of team will fit the bill. So there is no generic answer to this topic, and that's how I will reserve my comment for time being.
Yeah, thank you for your comments. And it was very insightful. One thing which you have said, that depending on the stage at which the startup is, the leadership style will change, because the this assessment matrix will change along with the growth. So thank you for your insights. Next, I will request Mr. Shikhar Chandra to share his insights on his journey and what does he think about how an organization should grow and how the leadership should change along with the growth.
All right. Thank you so much. Am I perfectly audible to everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. It was a great pleasure to hear from everyone, all the other panelists. Very much differentiated opinions and very strong opinions. See, my journey was very simple. I mean, I started my first company right out of college. That was right inside college, actually. I was in my first year. We started this little backpacking hostel, something that, probably the students can sort of relate with. We ran it for like 2 years. I got a chance to meet thousands of people from more than 80 different countries, which led to the idea of the Tarzan Way, an AI-powered travel buddy that enables users to craft hyper-personalized holidays within seconds. As Shreyans also mentioned that I am also not as experienced as the other candidates, as the other panelists. However, as far as my journey is concerned, I mean, our product has been full of pivots. I mean, we initially started with a platform that was more towards experiential travel. Then we kind of saw how the users were reacting and behaving towards it. And then we sort of innovated to tailor-made travel, personalized experiences. As we saw there were more users coming in, we sort of raised around and started working on this AI-powered platform. And as we continue, sort of observing user behavior, we, sort of make changes accordingly, and we sort of innovate to our product. Right? At a certain point, we only have funds to, since we are a funded company and we are this little break-even stage company where we are neither making profit and not making loss at this point of time. We are somehow running. However, what I have come to realize is that essentially the goal is to make value or create value. And value cannot be, somehow created if you are not persistent about one particular product, at least for a long time. There are only a certain amount of resources that you have, at least at a startup, right? As the company grows, there are multiple resources. I mean, Google works on hundreds of products as well, right? As Shreyans also mentioned that companies are working on multiple products and killing like 70% of them by the end of the year, right? Because they do have the resources to do so, right? So if I had the resources to do so, I would definitely innovate and I would definitely try out a lot of things. However, I somehow realized that even Indian startups and Indian companies somehow are trying to, build a product, innovate to a certain point, and then somehow trying to ensure that it's scaling. And while the part of innovation requires resources, scaling and actually streamlining the processes require a lot more of the resources later in, right? So while I was building, I could see that we were spending considerable resources in product development and technology. Right now, we are spending considerable resources in operational streamlining, sales streamlining, the boring things. I mean, we think that these things are somehow boring, right? That, oh, sales team, we're gonna hire a sales team. Why do we need a sales team? I mean, it's 2023, we don't need a sales team anymore, but we do. Essentially, we do need a person calling and talking still now, right? And while we are also spending a little bit on product to make sure that in future probably we need lesser resources in terms of sales. So I mean, there should be a very strong balance in terms of how much you're spending on product and how much you're spending on the menial or as I also call the boring particular roles, which are essentially, I wouldn't call them boring. I mean, I feel that there's a lot in a role that you can do, but it's a lot about the kind of resources that you have and where you have to put it. So that would be my input for this. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your inputs. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Adarsh Rao. Mr. Adarsh, are you there?
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
So I will introduce again because of there was some network issues, so unable to speak clearly. So I am Adarsh Rao, co-founder and CEO at Minimlix. I have started my entrepreneurial journey in 2018. My first startup was their name 𝐂𝐞𝐬, which like a dairy tech startup. Second one was 𝐼RA.com, which like a property rental startup for youth, college going students to provide hostels. And due to COVID, both startup got shut down. It's like lack of funding and experience, whatever cause. And 2020, during the COVID, when COVID peak, so I have started another startup where they Minimlix. So currently our operations is across 17 cities. Right now we are working with 1800 of interior designing professionals. Right now we have delivered more than 11,000 of residential and commercial projects across 17 cities are currently going on. Right now we have generated revenue 300 CR to all interior designing professionals, as well as we generated revenue for us more than 40 CR. And currently we are working with 40 plus team members. We were India's top grade college IIM, BITS, and some other colleges. So if you have any specific questions, so you can ask me. You can give me a topic.
Yeah, we would have a question and answer session after we receive all the insights and after at least we get some insights from all the panel members. And moving on, next I would like to request Mr. Smiti Deora to share her insights on how to scale the organization or how a leadership can help move the organization forward. Mr. Smiti?
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm extremely sorry.
Thank you for inviting me today. And hi, everyone. My name is Smiti. I'm the founder of Advantage Club. My journey has been in this way that I did my bachelor's from Mumbai University. Post that, I went for my master's in US at UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles. I did my master's in computer science there, and then that's where I met my co-founder as well. And both of us were very passionate about technology and about starting, up eventually. So post my master's, I joined Microsoft in the Seattle office. I joined there as a developer, but eventually I slowly started moving more towards the business side because that's where I was more interested. And Microsoft gives you those opportunities to kind of move to the customer facing place as well. So I started, working in a little bit around after sales roles with their teams, where I would deal with a lot of SQL Azure customers, including like a lot of big customers of Microsoft, like Dell and Pottermore were my customers. That's where I really got a hang of both technology and business, and it was a very good skill set to get, post which eventually me and my co-founders sort of decided to come back to India and start Advantage Club. What Advantage Club does is essentially we are an HR tech platform where we digitize different engagement programs for organizations. What loyalty companies do for customers is what we do for employees. The space, like the story of starting this also came from our stint at Microsoft, where we saw that in the US and in the Western countries, there are a lot of these employee benefit programs where organizations spend a certain percentage of salary, a certain percentage of money of the salary of employees beyond salary on employees. So we digitize their entire budget. Our journey has also been similar to what a few other people on the panel said around pivots. So we started as an employee perks platform back in 2016. And then it took us around, I think, 4 years to find a good product market fit. We raised some money. In total, Advantage Club has raised around $7 million till date. We were, kind of just figuring out what the business needs to become, and we did a lot of pivots. We tried fintech, we went into earned wage access, we became insurance agents, we did a bunch of stuff before we identified what actually works in the Indian market, and eventually expanded outside India. So I think 2020 is where we actually got our product market fit. Starting in 2016 took us 4 years to actually reach a PMF stage where the business started growing like crazy. And today, of course, once you find PMF, there is no looking back. So today we're present in more than 100 countries. We have our employees in India, in UAE, in US, and in Philippines. We have overall an ARR of around $8 million, and things have been going in a positive way for us. But what I want to talk about is the topic today around growth versus sustenance, and that's something we learned in our very early days when we started. So back in 2015-16, I don't know if people remember, it was this crazy frenzy around fundraising. Literally we were in a co-working space, and there was this we used to call him the agent of investors. He used to keep coming and he used to be like, funding chega, funding chega, funding chega. So we saw a lot of companies raise a lot of money and then suddenly die down. And we also went through an almost near death experience at that point when we were out of money and we didn't have money to pay salaries. And that's when we made a very conscious decision that we will never get ourselves in this situation that the business is not making any revenue. Growth is great, and you should raise funds for that to grow at whatever it needs. But the business itself needs to be sustainable in terms of a revenue model. Otherwise, we've all seen examples like this unfortunate example of Dunzo, what happened recently around, after becoming such a huge unicorn, they're just struggling to pay salaries today. So I think it needs to be a perfect balance between growth, money for growth. At the same time, you are ensuring that the business is sustainable if there is a funding winter happens, which is going on. And I think we're almost at the end of it now, but sustainability is equally important. And I think that there needs to be a balance between both of them.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your insights. So now let's move on to a little bit of discussion among all the panelists. So my first question to all the panelists, Ms. Smriti and Shreyans, I think you both have studied in US. So over there, the culture would be a little bit different. Indian culture is a little bit different. So how do you find the balance between both the cultures? Because what products and what type of people are the working style in US may not be, I think it is extremely different to that is in India. So do you find any problems in that, or managing the workforce which is based out of India and your experience or little bit of education from the US, and you pick up best of both worlds from both the sides and use the best practices? So how is it with you two? Because I believe that many of the students after graduating from IIM Kashipur may go out for future education or experience, or maybe posted on site, and they will pick up different sort of experiences over there. So how has your experiences been?
So I did early education in US up until 8th, 9th grade. I think Smithy did postgrad. So it'd be vastly different from both of experiences. Maybe I can give a little bit of a gist of how the early education was and how it's different from India. I think one of the biggest advantages that I've seen in the Indian education system is in India, we learned Jugaad very early on, right? It's just finding a solution to the problem, irrespective of how you get there. And I think that was one of the biggest learnings for me, because in US, not many people do Jugaad to find a solution to a problem, right? They just, use the standard procedure, the same protocol. And this is an early education, right? I'm not talking about like colleges, but in India, starting from 5th grade onwards, 4th grade onwards, whatever you want to do, you learn how to do it fast, right? And I think that is a very important life skill, especially while you're being an entrepreneur or if you're being a leader. You need to figure out how to quickly solve problems in the most creative, out of the box thinking or manner. And I think that is something that is just truly tremendous in India, which is not there in US. Maybe Smithy, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with what Shyam said. And actually, that's one aspect of Indian education that I absolutely love. And I hated that the newer curriculums in India are taking away that pressure from students and that ability to just make things happen. I think that's one of the very good things about Indian education. But yeah, I think both have their pros and cons. When I think the biggest, they call it culture shock, the biggest culture shock which we got when we went for higher education is that there is no syllabus, there is no curriculum. You have assignments and you have questions and assignments. Even if you Google those questions, you will not get answers to those questions. So it's really experiential learning. If you look at the US curriculum versus the India curriculum, which is more a very course-based, syllabus-based learning, and it's very predictable. Like you do 20 years or for 10 years of question papers and you'll be the school topper. I used to do that. I was the school topper in my school days in India. But when I went to US, I was not the topper anymore because I couldn't just hack it out, I couldn't just find just the 10-year question papers and answer all my assignments. So that's one major difference between the curriculum itself. And in terms of I think general culture also, US education is more around what do you want to do, and India culture is okay, you need to learn everything. Both have their pros and cons. When you learn everything, you get very good life skills which help you make that choice better as to what you want to do in your life. But there, like, you could just do a master's in psychology and not know anything. You don't need to know maths, you don't need to know anything else, but you just choose your major and you do everything around that major. So again, it's really a combination of both. The perfect education would be, I think, if you choose to kind of slog it out in India in your earlier years, and then you kind of just learn top-up skills on top of that outside India. I think that would be the perfect education according to me. In terms of work culture also, they're very different. So when we were in Microsoft, for example, it was a very autonomous culture, right? So there were no timings, like anybody would come anytime, anybody would go anytime, but still there was a lot of ethics in terms of when people are coming and when they are going. Like, for example, Fridays, we used to have like bring your own booze kind of event where, everyone would bring bottles from their cultures, and we'd have like a 30-minute session at 4 p.m. every Friday. And if you think about it, after 4:30, we would all go back to work. So everyone would party and enjoy and then go back to work after. And so there was a lot of responsibility in terms of how you are behaving overall, even if you are at a party. India is more, again, because our curriculum is more methodical. People also need to be guided to what needs to be done. So when we started Advantage Club, we had no timings. We thought we'll bring the Microsoft culture, no timings, come whenever you want, go whenever you want. People used to come at 12 o'clock, they used to leave at 4 o'clock. So it was a very big revelation for us that you can't have that same culture here. We started doing 6 p.m. Drinks when we were at a co-working space. people could not hold their liquor. So I think there's a serious discipline which you need to build in India. But the benefit of having people work in India is that they slog. Like, people really slog. People are very hardworking in nature. You have something which is broken in the weekend. Like, you look at today, right? There are people of IIM sitting at 11 a.m. on a Sunday attending a session. You can't have that in the US. We used to have very, very smart people in our companies. Something breaks over the weekend. You call an American, he'll be like, I'm out for hiking. I'm not going to do anything about it. You call an Indian in the US and they will get everything done for you. So I think there's a genuine cultural difference between both. But yeah, as you mentioned correctly, that you have to bring the best out of both and try to bring both cultures together to create like the perfect organizational culture. That's what we've been trying to do, but that's been my experience overall.
Yeah, totally agree. The reason being, when I call my Singaporean counterparts on a Saturday or a Sunday, I get no response. So totally agree with you. Next, I would like to ask the panelists regarding funding and how the leadership that goes along with it. Mr. Gowrav Vishwakarma, as he said, he's lucky he's bootstrapped, but I guess others are not that lucky in that sense. So when you raise a funding, then there are certain expectations that come with how the organization should function. Maybe the private equity or maybe some other person who is funding your organization, they have a certain vision, you have a certain vision. So how do you find a balance between the both? So because you want your organization to grow in a certain way, the investor, they may want the organization to grow in a certain way. So that's, I think, if there is a clash of, say, leadership style, then how do you resolve that? Or have you faced any such instances in your journey?
So you're right, I have done bootstrap and failed bootstrap and succeeded in funding. But this conflict, what you're asking is at very later stage when you are not kind of doing good. What's happening at Dealshare, what's happening at Byju's, that only happens when, even after giving so much money and time, and you are not able to find out what to do, then these kind of things comes in front of it. Otherwise, VCs, look, a VC knows that he's putting money in on 100 baskets and 90 of that basket is not going to come back, but the rest of the 10 will give them. So they understand that thing. It's not that they dictate how you should work, but let's say if they are giving you money and suggesting and you are not doing anything, then they will jump in. Otherwise, nobody jumps in. So look where funding comes from. The funding is not on your idea, as everyone, like Smriti said, Shreyan said, even Raghavan, everyone said. Pivot is part of business. We have to understand. And then VCs also know this, that, okay, you got an idea. They're back on yourself, your passion. They're back on the idea. Everybody knows there's no product right now. If you will find it eventually, but after a long time, if you are not even thinking and able to do that, then it comes in the role that the clashes and these things. And second, luckily, as you rightly said, we have been lucky that our venture companies are like kind of billionaire companies already. And Samir, who is a founder of the company, is Wharton alumni. So it's like we were choosy about whom to take the funding, because we were taking funding because we wanted to take funding. Our other two companies are like kind of footstep and already doing millions and billions. So everybody understands. Who is giving you money, unless if you are lending it, you are taking a lending or loan, people understand in the market that they're betting on you, your idea, your vision. Here, leadership comes. If you can't sell your company to a VC, your idea to a VC, you can't sell your product to customer. It's the biggest selling. Finding funding is the biggest selling. You are just selling an idea to and taking crores of rupees. It's insane. Then the leadership comes in the role. Second, leadership comes where the clashes come. It's not the clashes that come from the VC and the company. There are more clashes between the leaders and the top employee in the company. There are the more clashes that I see. That's my experience. So there's a leader's role comes in. So I have a vision for decade. I have a vision for decade. I'm not working for like इस साल के अंत में मुझे क्या कमाना है ना. I'm not working for that. My manager is working for 2 years goals of his life. Down the person of there is working for 6 months या 6 महीने में कार लेनी है. उसके नीचे वाला person का इस महीने की सैलरी आ जाए. So there's the aligning them in a line so that they work for the 10-year decades goal. That's where the leadership comes in the picture, that I must assure that they are aligned people. So that's what the long-term vision is me. The shorter terms with my manager, and the further shorter terms goals are to their subordinates. That's the leadership comes, that how do I behave and how do I pour something from the top so that everyone aligns to that decade goal, satisfying their own goals. So that's how the leadership goes in the clashes. There are less clashes than DCs, than your own team. And when Smithy rightly said that was an issue of managing people passionate about their work, like US and the other cultures, but that's where the leaders' roles comes in. We eventually find the way how to get it done and giving them the good culture and get the work out of them.
Thank you. Mr. Ravinder, any thing that you have faced in your organization?
Okay. So we are a Series A startup. Just to give you a background, when I took the plunge to be an entrepreneur in 2019, I thought that, I had enough social capital already in place, having built Aadhaar-enabled payment system, and being building the Bharat banking for IDFC Bank, and also it did play a lot. It did help. But when I met my first VC, I will not name him, he first asked me, "Aapne kitna dala hai?" So I said, "Hey, and by the time I had pivoted to be an entrepreneur, I was earning close to 1 crore. And I was used to a certain lifestyle. But I said, no, I'm giving my time, I'm giving my energy." He said, "What else?" And that's what opened my eyes. He asking me, "What more?" It came to a point where I had to literally put in everything, all my savings and everything. And I think it's fair, because the fund is also a custodian of either their own balance sheet or a certain LPs. And they have a certain fiduciary duty to them as well. So they are going to ask this tough question, and my experience has been that raising funds is not easy. And I would sincerely urge people who want to embrace entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is not just about, hey, I've got an idea, let me just go out and execute. It's not like that. You have to have the ability to find a team, and that team will come and join you only when they have conviction in you. Like, have you done it in the past? They will have to come at very nominal salaries initially to join you. So you have to have that social capital that they will join you at that stage. Then comes a point where you have to get the product market fit going. Then you probably go across to a set of angels, and then you say, "Can you put some faith and money in me?" Then comes a stage where you try to get to institutional funding. So there are various stages, and there is no one approach, or there is nothing wrong or right in this as well. Okay, everyone may have their own path and their own reasons why one would have chosen it. And in this process, you will come across a very various genre of people. As a leader, you are supposed to embrace all of them. Somebody may be very good in certain aspect, may not be in other aspects. So you will have to leverage their strengths. You can't, and no, so biggest thing for a leader is finding the right person for the right job, getting them that environment so that they can feel empowered, and what Gaurav said, that how to align people's ambitions across the entire employee value chain, how to make people rally along with you on your ideas. Are they working only for the salary, or they actually believe in the vision? There are many aspects once you start running the show by yourself. that you will come across. And essentially, as a CEO, I can say I have to, the people management is as important as VC management. VC people are very fancied by this word called VC. There is board also. We are a professionally managed board. We have a former secretary to Government of India on our board. We have the founder of Axis Bank on our board. And I did this at the seed stage prior to even raising my seed round. So getting a professional board who can say and take a call that this is okay, this is not okay. So it's all up to how you want to build it. I think the leadership team will have to take that culture along, and you have to build that culture. So you have to decide on what culture you want. Like, say, for example, I work very closely with the dairy industry. There's a certain culture which Dr. Kurian built in Amul, and the whole GCMMF believed in him. You know, so they saw this guy, Malayali guy, coming all the way to Anand, staking his. He was a US, studied citizen. He was asked to go for a small internship to Anand, but then finally became the milkman of India. And a Christian, a non-veg in Gujarat, building the white revolution. So what I'm trying to say is the ability to create that culture and make people rally around. There are many, many things. And that's why I will encourage a lot of you who want to embrace entrepreneurship. Is very, very good. You should. But after having put in certain number of years in an organization where you get to learn to interact with people, you learn to manage people, you learn to manage stakeholders, and all those facets, and then you will have a better chance at succeeding.
Yep. So thanks, Raghavan. I'll just give my 2 cents quickly. I'm a chartered accountant from the background. And during the journey, I moved into the IT field. I joined HCL, and then I moved to consulting firm PwC KPMG. So when I was in HCL, I was the only chartered accountant in the group of 150 engineers in the room. And everybody was like, why a CA, what a CA is doing in the tech company, right? But I could figure out there's a gap. Probably I could pick up a role of a leader, and that's how I started taking up the leadership role. I am a bootstrap company, but we had a first interaction with VC. I was in Stanford University, a few months back in San Francisco, and I was part of this VC session where we were talking about our product, Workwall. It's a marketplace where tech firms can share their resources. It's a big problem in the IT industry. I have a bench, and every bench is a cost for the IT company, while the other tech company has work, but they don't have resources. And there is not a single platform where tech companies can interact with each other and share their resources. So this was the idea I was building on, and I met VCs. So VC have a different style. They are very candid, that we have to accept. So few VCs were like, yeah, it's all good, we like your idea, and they will take your number. But the genuine VC will be the one who will give the right feedback to you. He will say, where is your demand? Let me know, how would you get all the supplier on your platform? When you get 100, come back to me, then I'm interested. So there are different kind of VC. One is just investing on the idea. If they like the idea, they invest on you. There are VCs which they will only invest when you have certain level of traction or something which you have got. Smriti and Shreyans would be a better person. In terms of leadership conflict style, I have been managing. I was a young manager. I became one of the youngest manager in PwC at the age of 27. And a lot of senior people were reporting. I'm a CA, but my reportees were from IIT, IIMs, etc. There was always a conflict of interest. So I would say, as a young person, if you get a leadership role very early in your life, accept it. The last thing you can say is I'm not prepared for the leadership role. Don't do that. Even if someone asks you to become a CEO of a company at a very young age and you have not played the role, pick it up. Or kind of principal consultant, managing consultant, but take up the leadership role. Never say I am not prepared for it, I can't lead the senior people under me. It's a different skill set. So I would say to avoid the conflict, I think Raghavan will agree. By the experience, you will get this word called patience. Once you have patience develop in you, you can resolve a lot of conflict. So I'll say patience is the key word. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for your insights. Next, I would like to ask Shikhar regarding, say, you just said that a major part of your means currently the break-even scenario which we're having, that basically depends on your sales people, the operations people. So one simple question: how do you keep your employees who hustle every day motivated? Because I think motivation is another key aspect for any organization to grow. As long as the employees are motivated, your organization grows. The point they lose the motivation, then all goes downhill. So how do you keep them motivated?
All right, sure. As Raghavan sir mentioned, right, that and even Gaurav sir mentioned that every employee has different ambitions, and you need to sort of strike a balance between their ambitions, right? We're a very small team. We're a team of just 20 people. We have some 7-8 months of runway at max. I think if we don't raise funds within next 3 months, I'm not sure where we're going, right? So if I tell this to my team, the question is, would they stay for another 3 months with me if I tell them that if we don't raise in next 3 months, or if we don't do something in next 3 months, it's not gonna happen anymore? Because I think that is the phase that a lot of us must have been through. If not, then at least I am, and I have faced that multiple times. I have also been at a stage where there was just 1 month of runway that I had just we raised around, and so I mean there was a stage. I mean there was a big deal that went through, or some big deal that's coming, but essentially. There should be a certain level of transparency with your team in terms of what you're envisioning, what is the goal for next year, the year after that, and what are your ambitions for your team itself. I personally, right now, since we are just a team of 20 people, I mean, we are not a very huge team. I have personally had a discussion with everyone to understand their personal goals, and I've had an hour-long vision alignment sort of discussion with them, right? I mean, some people would say that these are just discussions. I mean, how does it really matter? But our team has, sort of evolved into a very much self-learning stage. In fact, we set our own curriculum. We learn certain things from time to time. We sort of make sure that we're learning X, Y, Z things. We are sort of making sure that everyone has a certain set of responsibility. We also ensure that there's a very open culture in terms of if you want to create your own project. So, for example, there was one particular employee in our team. She was interested in women empowerment, right? So she started an entire project where she went to some 20 villages in India, where she sort of, led, a lot of employment for women particularly. So we created that sort of space for our employees. So I feel that this is something which would, number one, and number two, we have to offer higher salaries. I mean, no matter how much we talk about vision and growth and XYZ, but essentially, for any employee who doesn't carry stake in the company, they want a higher salary, a better benefits, or if not that, then at least equity. I mean, so we have an ESOP pool. We offer equity. Uh, I have very much openly offered equity to our employees. Not like the entire percentage or whatsoever altogether. We have an ESOP pool, and we have ensured that first 30-40 people who come in get ESOPs, of course, with vesting and so on. So those are like a couple of ways I somehow get my team, and in fact I also get my team involved in a lot of other things. I mean, if they want to sort of hire a few interns, so I mean there are these 20 people who are like proper with us, and then there are interns, so we help them sort of lead a team of interns, so it helps them learn as well. And later on we ensure that the people who are working with us now sort of grow into managerial roles. But over time, I mean, within last 3 months, I've also realized that now we somehow need more seasoned people who are more experienced in the team. So we can't always go with 3 years experience or 4 years experience. So now I have been researching and finding. So we recently launched this chief officer posting, and now we are sort of finding more seasoned people who are more experienced. So once I learn how do we manage them, then I'll definitely share that as well. So yeah, thank you.
Another question regarding this. When I say startup or the organization is doing well, say it has been in the industry, say 5, 6 years, it is doing well, people are recognizing the products. Then once the product runs well, then we find a little bit of copying that happens in the industry. And if that copied product that works well, then it provides a severe competition to your product as well. So how do you all navigate through these sort of competitions? Because this is kind of an uncertainty that comes. And when such things happen, then comes the poaching part from established organization. So how do you tackle that sort of scenario? Have you faced such problems? Or if you face, then what should be your strategies to at least tackle this?
Yeah, so I was watching this interview from Mark Zuckerberg yesterday, and he was asked the same question. You know, Apple has launched the VR headset, and how do you? Yeah, sorry. So how do you see that Apple launching VR headset while Facebook is trying to compete in the same area? So his answer was simple. We see it as a validation of the category. If it's a new category and new competitors are coming, it validates that there is a market and it is going to grow. So that's a positive side. But if you are in a market which is already saturated, then there are already a lot of competition is already there, right? And I think Smithy would be the right person, and I'll pass on to her.
Sure, Ravinder. So there's this really interesting book I think everyone should read called 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. And it's one of my favorite books. So everyone should read it if you really want to understand the reality of startups. So there is this concept called as category starters. So a category starter is a company who starts a new product, a new innovative idea, but their job is not to become that unicorn or that big shot company who does everything. That company defines that this idea will work. And in most cases, that company will die. And there will be another company who copies that same idea and sees that, okay, this concept has worked. And they understand the failures of that category starter and then become the market leader. So it's very important that if you are the category starter, you identify that you are the category starter, and there is a high chance that you will die eventually. So you have to constantly innovate to ensure that your competition or you don't become that standard, that sad company you started and nobody knows about it anymore. So like Pepper Tap was a classic example. Pepper Tap, there were a lot of companies who started like online food delivery and online grocery delivery. I remember back in 2016 when we moved to India, and when you're starting a startup, there's no time to go grocery shopping. So I found these random companies online. There was this company called freedhania.com, which ironically never gave any free dhania. It was a paid dhania, but they used to deliver grocery at homes. Nobody remembers these companies anymore. I mean, the companies which people know today are Big Basket, this Swiggy, and some of them, like Big Basket, was a category starter in the South market. They sustained, but so many of them died. So competition is inevitable. I mean, it is something which will happen. If something is working in the market, there will be 20,000 people who will copy it. But how you can sustain as one product differentiator becomes really, really important. The experience of the user when they are actually using your product becomes important. Second, you need to also identify how the VC market or the other community will behave the moment somebody raises like an insane amount of money. And that's also one of VC questions, that if tomorrow say Paytm raises another $100 million, will they just start your company and just kill you off, right? So what is that unique USP of your product because of which you will not die irrespective of whatever happens? How do you create that sticky value for the customer that they will stick with you? So that's very important to find. And of course, constant innovation. If you keep doing the same product over and over again and you're not innovating and adding new features in it, I think it is inevitable that somebody will make a better version, better UI UX version, and just wow the users and kill you in the market. So that's my 2 cents on competition in general. It's not to be feared, but I think it's something which is very important for companies to innovate and grow.
Okay, so on competition, I have also my 2 cents, if I'm allowed. Am I allowed? Yeah. Okay, so very interestingly, we also do a regular courses. Like I'm in the panelists, I'm feeling like we all understand the funding. Funding is not easy. Entrepreneurship is not easy. It's not fun. We all are kind of, मतलब मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है हम सब के बातों में कोई डिफरेंस नहीं मिलने वाला है। आप किसी एक को भी बिठा दोगे ना, किसी को भी, तो वो सब बातें एक ही निकलने वाली है। हम सब उस दौर से निकले हैं। हम अक्सर हार्वर्ड के कोर्सेज करते रहते हैं कंपनी के अंदर। There's a mistake. People build for faster, better, and cheaper. Whenever you start something, you start for we are faster, better, or cheaper. Only 3 things you can innovate, but that's not how you should start. You should start with: is it disruptive, is it discontinuous, or is it defensible? How you defense? Like any software, कितना हार्ड है उसके सॉफ्टवेयर को बनाना, और कितना हार्ड है उसके आपके कस्टमर का मूव ऑन कर जाना आपके प्लेटफॉर्म पे। अगर मुझे एक सॉफ्टवेयर इंस्टॉल करके दूसरा इंस्टॉल ही करना है, इट्स वेरी इजी, देयर इज नो कॉस्ट टू स्विच फॉर अ कस्टमर। यू गो ऑन बॉस, अभी से मान लो आप। How you are defensible? Ask yourself how you are defensible. So when in Frendy, we are not just making an app like online app. We know online app can be anytime replaceable, but Patanjali you cannot replace. It's a whole logistic channel going out there. Unless and so understand what is not defensible. I can pass information on a click to you, but I cannot pass a packet of biscuit to you. For that, I have to create a long chain. It's a long vision. You have to create $1 billion company. Then you have to do this thing. So definitely, I absolutely agree with Smriti. How your business is defensible, that's not easily copy. Anybody can copy. And second, I would agree on the leadership part. The leadership changes from 0 to 1. That book is really great. The leadership changes from 0 to 1 and 1 to 100, 1 to 10. शुरू में मेरे जो 20 लोगों की टीम होती है ना, उन्हें उनके साथ पार्टी करना बहुत आसान है। वहां सब पैशनेट पर्सन होंगे, वो कुछ करना चाहते हैं लाइफ के अंदर, ठीक है ना। एंड देयर आर three things that what we say. You start with passion, but as you grow, you need process. And once your processes are set, you need perfection. These are 3 stages of a to be in tournament. So you passionate person. All IIM students, I really want to say to you, start with passion. But be ready for the process. जहाँ पे आपका passion होता है, आपको इतना time पे आना पड़ेगा, SOPs बनाना पड़ेंगे. You are not comfortable because you are for 0 to 1 only. Find another 0 to 1 company. That's good for you. If you really want to grow, learn how to switch from 1 to 10 now. So you have to be like on time, on punctuality, on SOPs and process. And sales की report है तो पढ़नी पड़ेगी. And then comes the perfection. And then comes the perfection. So
Amandeep, if you can please mute.
Thanks. So absolutely right. 0 to 1 and 1 to 10 is different story. And don't build for faster, better, and cheaper. How is your business defensible? Ask right now. OpenAI could. देखिए, OpenAI के पास ऐसी कोई टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं थी. We launched our first AI in 2014. Still the websites are up there, open source contributions. The technology is 1960s papers that they are working on right now. All the things they are developing, multi-model things, that's 1960s paper that opens. They have resources that nobody else can copy so easily. You can copy their models and use their company, but you cannot have that sort of big data or big sort of competition power that Microsoft, Google, or OpenAI. What unique thing you have that cannot be copied by Tom, Dick, and Harry with some amount of money and just come in and disrupt you? That requires a lot of money, lot of pressure, lot of time, and patience. Like I forgot Ravindra or Raghavan who said, but patience is the key. What's take care of? Funding is not easy. हमारे पास एक certain पर्चा है. हमें पता है हमें जिंदा रहना है सिर्फ अगली फंडिंग के लिए. आधे खत्म होने लग गए, आधे खत्म हो जाएंगे, because they didn't thought that way. And we thought कि आपका पैसा कितने टाइम चलेगा, नहीं आएगी तो आप क्या करोगे, आपका प्लान भी रेडी है या नहीं, आप सेल्फ सस्टेन कितने टाइम में हो सकते हो. So very true. You have to be defensible, and 0 to 1 and 1 to 10 is different story.
Yeah, thank you. Next, I would ask Shreyans, when you had started your journey, so you were basically, as you said, you were basically competing with Internshala. So how did you navigate that landscape basically? Because they were kind of a monopoly. Because I remember when I was doing my MBA at that time, that was the only option we had. So how did you navigate through that competition basically?
Yeah. So Internshala is still one of the biggest. We launched in January of this year itself. So we have about 10,000 companies hiring from us and about 250,000 students, applying for internships on BlueLearn today. But one of the biggest differentiator, multiple differentiators, I think can be around tech, design, marketing, and product. These are the four main functions and departments that we have at BlueLearn also. And we focus on each one of them to create a defensible moat around each one, right? So I think there's one very nice theory that was by, I think Kunal Shah talks about his Delta 4 theory, which means that your product needs to be at least 4x better than the competitor or some other competition, right? Not just one price point or not just one better experience. It needs to be 4 times, 4 different points better. So for us, those 4 points are tech, design, marketing, and product. Our product is inherently better. So if you're looking for internships, you can get good internships with decent companies at good price points at a very fast turnaround time, right? The tech is better because it's easier, better accessibility. We have in-depth features. So all of these 4 or 5 points put together then creates a very good experience for the user, which then helps us beat existing competition. And like everyone also said, I think perseverance, passion, staying in that game long enough with a clear-cut vision, because often you need to ignore the noise. There's always going to be hundreds of copycats and lots of different people trying out different things. But you need to always remember the vision and the mission, why you started, what is the problem you're solving, and what is the most efficient way to get there. So often we just block out the noise because there are hundreds of internship platforms out there, right? And there are hundreds of other edtech platforms out there that help students learn a new skill. And every day we talk, there's a new one getting funded. So it's just sticking true to our vision every day, getting 5-10% growth every week, seeing 5-10% growth compounds over month after month, year after year, and that compound eventually in 2 to 3 years then itself becomes a defensible moat, right? And as Warren Buffett says, compounding is the eighth wonder of the world, and I think that's something we also agree on in terms of just user base or revenue metrics or engagement, etc.
Nice insights. And another thing, which is kind of an open-ended question, so which I feel is since you are managing a lot of people, I think everyone has become kind of an expert in psychology, human psychology, to be very honest. Because what happens is, at my organization, means I am not managing a lot of people, but at least I have 3 or 4 kind of senior people who are working under me. So managing their expectation, and then because I am kind of junior in terms of age as well as experience, but still managing them. So how do you feel that the psychology means, since you are gaining a lot of insights from your juniors or your employees, they have different demands, they have different expectations, and then you are kind of understanding their demands, understanding their needs, catering to it. So how does it help you grow as a person? And do you think these sort of things that also helps you means at your personal level as well, in your own family, or maybe to our friends and families, where you can understand that this kind of psychology or this kind of mindset, I can navigate through this? So how means I may not be able to make you understand what I'm trying to say, but anything that you have experienced while managing a lot of people in your organization.
So it's leader therapist, right? That's what I think you're
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
Go ahead, Raghavan, I'll go to you.
Sorry?
I was saying go ahead, Raghavan. I think you were saying
Oh,
something.
yeah, okay. No, so my simple way to understand the question which Murshid has put, how do you manage senior people with, while holding the pole position? The simplest way I will answer this is like how MS Dhoni handled Sachin Tendulkar or Rahul Dravid. Okay. The best way is to earn their respect. Okay. So you do something so phenomenal that the senior feels that he's really good at it. Okay. And he's our better chance at winning the World Cup. So why don't we all rally behind him? And that is the only way you will get seniors to work productively with you. And then you will also have to, at times, give space to them and allow them their own space as well. So it's a bit of both. You have to have that balance, and then you should be able to extract the maximum. It's up to the leadership style of how you manage that. But essentially, I would say the best way to look at is how Dhoni handled Sachin, Rahul, and others during his course. This is one. The second is that I just want to add my 2 cents on the last bit on the competition and all. I would second what Ravinder said. It's an excellent validation. You don't have to really worry that there is some copycat. I used to have this fear that if I'm going to articulate my business model with such clarity, everybody will copy. And the first VC who actually funded me told me, Raghavan, if it was so easy, there would be hundreds of Raghavan. So you don't worry. It's all about execution. So it's not about just having an idea. It's about taking that idea to a logical conclusion and then taking it to a certain pivot, making it happen. If it was so easy, then everyone would have been an entrepreneur.
So I just want to add there, in terms of leadership, I think one of the things which people misunderstand when they start a venture or start a startup is that I'm going to be my own boss. You are never your own boss. Everybody is literally your boss, including your employees, your customers, your stakeholders, and even your peon for that matter. Eventually, somebody you are answerable to. So I think that de facto therapist, setup comes along with it. And I think a very important part of leadership is managing people. Not only about leadership, like when students go in the corporate world, managing their seniors, managing their juniors, managing the parallel people is going to become a very, very important part of how well you will grow in your life or not. Now, if we talk about leadership in general, I think there are 2 types of people who will answer to you. There will be a set of people who will be junior in terms of experience to you, and a set of people who will be senior in experience to you. For me, for example, with just a few years of experience in Microsoft, I mostly have people who are senior to me in terms of experience, in terms of market expertise as well. And on top of it, I'm a woman leader, right? So it also comes with its own caveats of why should I answer to this person. So it's not been easy. Like initially, when we started, especially when you start off as a new founder, it is very, very hard to earn that respect from people, especially people who have much more experience than you do. So the first important thing which matters there is to prove yourself and to actually earn their respect. And you have to prove yourself over and over again for every new senior employee you hire. You have to show them that why you have earned this whatever you are at today, this designation, and why you are the right person to lead that particular team, and in whatever way you need to prove yourself as. Second, in terms of managing people, once you have proven yourself as a leader, you also have to connect with them to build bonds so that they connect with you beyond just a professional relationship as well. So when we started Advantage Club, for the first, I think, 3 years, now it's hard for me to do that, but for the first 3 years, I used to have one-on-ones we used to work Saturdays back then, now we don't. So every Saturday, I used to have a 30-minute one-on-one with everybody in my team. And the topic of the one-on-one was anything except work. So in that one-on-one, we would not talk about work. We would talk about their family, about their personal lives, about somebody's girlfriend, somebody's boyfriend, somebody's whatever is going on. Those 30 minutes we would just spend with each other one-on-one, talking about everything other than work. And you'd be surprised the level of bonds I've built with people who were there in the company over those 3 years. I could never replicate that again. So, and those people become your people, and then they stick around and they will never leave. So I think becoming an emotional becomes a very important part of leadership as well, so that people start connecting with you beyond a professional relationship and they actually stay back with you?
Yeah, thank you. Then we have some questions from the students as well. So for this question is from Rustam, and this is directed towards Mr. Ravindra Kulsari. So how can a non-tech background guy make a business in tech industry? Since you were a non-tech person working in a tech field, so what would your advice be?
No, absolutely. So again, if you follow Y Combinator for startup, the best part to build a tech startup would be to get a good CTO or good tech founder, co-founder. So we are three people. I'm CA, I'm the business mind, I'm the one who's responsible for the sale and the idea inception. Then I have a CTO who is building the tech part of the thing. And then another guy, he's from IIT Chennai. He's a guy who's also bringing his thoughts and the technical expertise. So simple answer is get a good and right co-founder. I can't code myself, but I know everything about coding. You have to understand it. You have to do a deep dive, but get a right co-founder. That really helps. Yeah, that's my short answer. Thanks.
Thank you for your answer. And next question is from Akansh Grover, and it is directed towards Mr. Gowrav Vishwakarma. So what are the company's upcoming strategies for extending its presence in other parts of India?
अहमदाबाद के 20-22 गांवों में अंदर है, अभी प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट अच्छा लगता है, 1 साल तक जिंदा रहना है, अभी ज्यादा हाथ पे नहीं मारने हैं, मार्केट में पैसा नहीं है, फंडिंग विंटर है, वी आर वेटिंग, जब आप डूब रहे हो तो बहुत ज्यादा हाथ पे नहीं मारने चाहिए, जल्दी डूब जाते हो आप. So just be alive, make yourself correct, take proper use of this time, make yourself correct, what small things you can correct, what with this model you can correct, we are working on that thing. And definitely within a year, we have tried. Aisa nahi ki we haven't tried. We started Rajasthan, we had shut down. We started MP. Then we are somehow taking to understand what multi-state operations will give us some new issues that we are sorting out. But right now we are just अपनी roots मजबूत करना चाहते हैं. That's very important. You like मैं सब जगह हूँ. मुझे नहीं कहना मैं कितनी countries में हूँ, कितनी cities में हूँ. पर मैं आज 24 मिलियन का बिजनेस हूं, मैं 240 मिलियन का बिजनेस 1 साल के अंदर होना चाहूंगा. दैट शुड बी माय गोल. So कब होगा? When the right time comes. When is the right time? I have no answer right now.
Thank you. And next question is from Lavnesh Agrawal. This is directed towards Mr. Adarsh Rao. So what challenges did you face in the early stages and how did you overcome them?
You're on mute, Adarsh.
I want to share the story which it happened with us in 2021, which is like a little bit inspiration and some little message to like upcoming like entrepreneurship, budding entrepreneurship. Already I have told like to everyone say we have started a minimalism in 2020 in like mid of the month, mid of like during COVID. And by April 2021, we have hired like 40 plus candidates. Out of 40, 6 was from IIM Bodh and 2 are like IIT Kharagpur, rest of all some other. Also, we have like a retired manager of like SBI Bank, and then named like Isa Bhutani. And no one was aware about like a second wave. We have conducted like induction program by 12th of April, and 17th of April got a news like a second wave. So the market is completely locked, shut down. Office also got shut down. Unable to like reach office like me to anyone's the market. So our HR was like Deepa Kaushik. She had like more than like a 12 years of year experience in HR domain. She has advised me, ki, sir, what should I do in that scenario? So I have an idea. So just we have to inform to everyone say, ki right now we are terminating to you, yeah, laying off. Or after some time we can hire you, like once like a situation will be normal. I said to Deepa, ki, please don't do this. Just align 4 to 5 people who is good for like sales with me, and I will help to them to focus on sales rather than like some other things. We have retained more than 40 people well during the pandemic. no one like get terminated like fired during the situations, and also we have delivered to everyone's more than their expectations without any delay. And also we have back to many records. That team was like Mohit Singh. He is also completed their MBA, right? Their job in like HCL company. She's helped me a lot to like close like big deals, like all their value like 25 lakh, 30 lakh, 18 lakh. So if you're facing any kind of problems, you are like a budding startup, yeah, like hello. Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, please continue.
So if you're like a budding startup, you're like a first generation entrepreneur. You are not like expert of the everything, but you can know like how can you to create the value to your employees, your customers, and be able to listen their concern, pain point, tears, and expectations. Rest of people will bring in your organization, so they can help you a lot, like tech backgrounds and some other experts. But if you are a leader, so make sure try to create value to everyone's, like for everyone's. So I have done like many times in our organizations without any like delay, and also we have received from like same college again in the last year. Also we are on IIT and IIM college for the like SIPs. Also you can notice my LinkedIn profile. Check out. Till now we have received more than like 12,000 shop applications for like SIPs and final placement. So unable to manage like a 5 total CVs in the upcoming 3 months. So I'm not like master of the everything, just a master of the one thing which like people man.
That's good to hear. Next question is from Vicky Prasad. I am keeping this question open to all. So this is, what is the right time to go for a startup considering one's situation, and what kind of temperament is required to execute such thing, given he may lose everything if that fails? So I guess you all have experienced this. So if you could shed some light on this question.
There is no right time. कभी भी जाओ, आपके अंदर गट्स होना चाहिए. रविंद्र ने बोला, स्मृति, Raghavan, everyone. It's not easy, understand. It's not that easy कि कब जाना, अभी जाना है, मैं एक नया स्टार्ट करना चाहूँ. It's not like that. बॉस, पहले अपने आप को है ना वो जिगर मजबूत कर लो. गुर्दे बहुत मजबूत होने चाहिए. एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप है ना. Any time is right time. It's not about funding. पैसा, don't start work for funding. Don't start work for funding. कि मुझे funding लेनी इसलिए काम start करना. That's the wrong way. You really want to do something out. You prove it that you are doing it right way. You make yourself believe that you are doing right. Funding will come eventually. So there's a wrong way कि funding market में scene क्या चल रहा है, उस हिसाब से मुझे काम करना है. Just focus on what you want to do. Do you really want to do it? That's it. That's my 2 cents on that thing. Don't work for कि market में क्या चल रहा है. आपको करना है कर लीजिए, करने का हिम्मत करिए. मैं तो कह रहा हूँ क्या बिगड़ जाएगा, 1-2 साल करके देखेंगे, समझ में आएगा. देखो दोनों ही केस में है ना, आपके you'll come to know कि am I good or am I not good. नहीं भी हो अच्छा तो कम से कम जॉब में बहुत शांति से काम करोगे, वरना एक कीड़ा जिंदगी भर लगा रहेगा. काश मैंने कुछ अपना चालू किया होता. करके देख लो 2 साल में, तो कहता हूँ मैं तो करके देखो, समझ में आएगा. जॉब भी एंजॉय करोगे पूरे, नहीं तो पता है 25 साल में कभी बोलोगे मैंने काश अपना कुछ चालू किया होता. Let's go ahead, do that, and don't work for funding, don't work for money. Try to do something better, good. And if you're satisfied with your work, funding and money and customer will come eventually. Your passion for your work is what matters for me.
I think सवाल ये नहीं है कि कब करना है, सवाल ये है क्यों करना है. So I
क्यों
think
करना है?
the bigger question is why do you want to do a startup? And अगर आपके पास उसका जवाब है और वो जवाब सही है, तो I think you should go ahead for it. And when not to do a startup, I think biggest thing which people need to think about is 2-3 चीजें होती है जब आप स्टार्टअप में जाते हो. एक, your life turns upside down literally. Second, अगर आपको एक stable job, एक stable salary चाहिए, वो आपको initial years में कभी भी नहीं मिलेगा. Most of the people जिन्होंने भी panel में आज बताया है, काफी लोगों ने initial years में struggle किया है. Lot of them have also put in their own money. हमने भी अपना खुद का 30 लाख शुरू में startup में लगाया था. It's not like we were और हमें उस टाइम पता नहीं था कि incubators, accelerators उस टाइम इतना था भी नहीं इंडिया में, तो we could have used that. But if I were to start again, अगेन मैं अपने 30 लाख वापस नहीं लगाऊंगी, मैं किसी एक्सेलरेटर से काइंड ऑफ अप्लाई करके आई विल ट्राई टू गो फ्रॉम दैट. तो मतलब देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ अनसर्टेनिटी व्हिच विल हैपन. तो अगर आपकी कोई लाइफ इवेंट चेंज हो रही है, मान लीजिए आप शादी करने वाले हैं, या मान लीजिए यू आर प्लानिंग टू गेट अ चाइल्ड, देन यू नीड टू थिंक अबाउट इट कि क्या ये सही समय है, बिकॉज योर एंटायर लाइफ इज गोना टर्न अपसाइड डाउन. बट उसके अलावा आई थिंक देयर इज नो right time or wrong time to start something. But yeah, reasons for starting need to be right. Like, why do you want to start whatever you want to start is the bigger question than when you want to start.
And I will just add, if you want to explore what is it like to start a startup, join a startup. Because the moment you join a startup, even as intern, you will be given all the ownership. Like, you are becoming a CEO of that particular department. So if you are into sales, then you are being asked, just go and get me 10 customers. And you are just new to the job. How would I get a customer? The founder has gone, like he has given you the target, right? That's the target you have to achieve. And you will start trying, you'll try to figure it out. You will learn out of it. So I'll say just join a startup, get a feel out of it. And most of the employees of the startups are the one who actually go and then start a new startup. So that's how the chain replicates.
परफेक्टली. और इस टाइम पे है ना, वैल्यू पे जाना है. आईआईएम और आईटी की एक वैल्यू है. प्राइस कम हो सकता है अभी मार्केट में जो चल रहा है उस हिसाब से, प्राइसेस गॉन डाउन, बट नॉट द वैल्यू. सो यू गॉट सम वैल्यूज बिकॉज यू आर फ्रॉम दिस प्रेस्टिजियस कॉलेजेस आउट देयर. सो वैल्यू इज देयर. Even if you have to compromise something on your price right now, just experience that in startup. What Ravi has said, absolutely right.
And I think IIMs also have very good startup entrepreneurial programs, right? So
yeah, they do have.
You can talk about it more कि आपके incubations या जो भी entrepreneurial setups हैं वो experience करना चाहिए बच्चों को to before actually plunging into it, and try utilizing. You should utilize those resources available to you.
I kind of disagree with you here. थोड़ा सा मेरा ये जो होता है ना, अपन को जो नेस्ट देते हैं बच्चों को, छोटा सा घोंसला देते हैं ना, यहाँ पे दे फील कंफर्टेबल, बस हो गया ये तो हम कर सकते हैं. असली फाइट कम्स इन द मार्केट when वहां पे तो एवरीथिंग इज लाइक काइंड ऑफ गिवन. आपका कुछ लग नहीं रहा है, ठीक है, बैठ के दिमाग ही लगाना हो गया. जब आपको कहा जाए कि कुछ नहीं, आप मार्केट में जाओ करो, was it's hard.
I would Shreyans is the right person in our panel.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so if you get a problem and you feel about it, I think Shreyans can answer it better than us.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with all of you guys. I think when Murshid was asking the question, my only thought process was, if you want to see what the startup is like, join a startup, experience as an intern, as a professional. And same with what Gaurav and Smriti also mentioned, that there's no right time. You need to be passionate. You have to have the why. And for us, exactly what Gaurav said, we were never chasing funding, or we were never chasing, valuation or whatever. It was that we found it hard to learn a new skill or get internships. So we thought, why not do something about it, right? We had no idea that it would ever become, even a small business or a venture scalable business at any time. So just solve the problem that you see, I would say, or you're facing yourself. Because if you can solve a problem for yourself, that means that there are a few other people who you can also solve the problem for. And I think that is the only one. Same thing with everyone else agrees. I think one thing that I really learned in this panel is that a lot of the things that, we go through, similar other founders are also going through the same things at different stages. So it's great to hear from all of you guys as well.
Perfect. एक श्रेयांश ने बहुत अच्छी बात बोली है. For the students, I really want to pass something to the students. श्रेयांश ने बहुत अच्छी बात बोली है. Understand, आपके जैसे कुछ कस्टमर होंगे. We always talk about product market fit, but we never talk about the target segment. You want to cater all of your target generate. No, just find a segment out of it who are similar in the nature, satisfy them, and then you should move on.
Exactly. It's better to get one person who deeply loves you rather than 100 people who somewhat like
Perfectly,
you.
right.
I think that's a great piece of advice. Yeah.
And then good people will join. Like हमारी कंपनी में हमने चालू किया तो मैं रिटेल से नहीं था, सभी रिटेल से नहीं था, लेकिन आज हमारे साथ हर्षद है, who is like इंडिया के फर्स्ट 5 वॉलमार्ट के एम्प्लॉइज में से एक है. वो he has handled Amul, he has handled many things. He is now CEO and co-founder with us. So people will join you, and definitely you will need money. ऐसा नहीं कि हमें पैसा नहीं चाहिए, पैसा चाहिए, पैसे के पीछे भागना पड़ेगा, because प्रोडक्ट प्रूव हो गया, इसको चलाने के लिए पैसा चाहिए. मगर but start for funding. That's what you want to say.
Nice observation. Shikhar, do you have anything, any advice for the students?
Yeah, I mean, see, rather than chasing funding or even, I would say, just starting and jumping right into it, I would say if you actually see a problem, then there's no harm in doing something in your dorm room. I mean, it's not that it would require anything to sort of get a couple of friends together and uh, start working on something, because it's fun. So if you can just start something on it, and but there needs to be a problem. There needs to be something that you feel somehow passionate about. I started because I got to meet so many travelers from so many different countries, so I could really feel connected to the kind of problem. And I think everyone on the panel must have sort of, connected to the problem in one way or the other, right? And see, I started when I was just 18 years old, and we were two friends who took a small loan of 2 lakhs. And that's how we started. And then the first round, the second round, the first exit, then another round. So that even if we didn't go through these rounds, essentially that was not stopping two friends from probably just, having fun and starting something. Being in a prestigious college, you guys have great opportunities, and I'm sure all of you will have your job applications and interviews very soon. I mean, no one's stopping you to even be in a job and then probably spend some couple of hours on something new that you want to do. And it doesn't need to be whether a venture scalable business or something that is you have to devote full time in. It can just be a side hustle as long as that. Right. One of my friends I know, he just started a couple of YouTube videos, and now it's physics wala. So I mean, it took a couple of years, but you never know how it's gonna shape up. And in fact, entrepreneurship doesn't require, I would say, full time just today itself. Like from today, I'm going to devote everything I have and everything I, ever will into this thing. No, I mean, it can be a very much process where you are, just starting, testing. And I think that incubation cells are great opportunities. I would particularly recommend another IIM's incubation cell because I know that they do great things, but I'm sure IIM Kashipur also does great things. IIM Calcutta, I know, is doing really good in terms of incubation, and I'll have to definitely research about IIM Kashipur. But I mean, what's the harm in going and, in fact, of course, Gaurav sir mentioned that you have to go out in the world. You have to, but अगर मिल रहा है तो ले लो ना. अगर if you're getting some soft place, then go for it. I mean, if they're offering an office space, go for it. I did not go for any incubation in my first startup. We exited. We raised a round, we exited. We never knew about incubation. That was 2017, 2018. 2019 we realized 2019 we sort of started our new company, and we saw they're giving free office for 6 months. I mean, we should have taken it when the time was right. We could have paid, like, save tons of money. So at that time we used to take residential space offices. We used to buy this, rent out this apartment, and our entire team was in this apartment. So when we came across the co-working spaces and incubations, we were absolutely happy. And I think, and in colleges there's so much infrastructure. There's a library, you guys can sit and work. You have your own rooms, you can sit and work, and you have so many students to test things out with, right? So if something is meant to be for students, like an internship platform, something like is, so I mean, that can definitely be tested within college itself. And if not, then there's a lot of network that you can build around. So I would just suggest, start, but you need to have a problem. So, and you need to feel connected to the problem. So yeah, thank you.
And thank you. And one more question to Mr. Raghavan. So what was your basically thought process when you decided that you wanted to start DigiBriddhi and coming out from, say, NPCI and all? So what was going through your mind? And because I believe you were well settled at that time. So what made you decide to take a plunge in this world of startups?
I think, I was used to a lot of freedom at the bank. My last stint before I started DGV was IDFC Bank, and the founder, MD and CEO Rajiv Lal, and the founding team was very close in terms of building the bank. And then somewhere in 2019, I felt you have to have that sense that yes, this is the right time, and it's not easy because from moving from a salary to an entrepreneur. So on one hand, every 30th or 1st, you will receive a ting SMS, a nice salary, a lot of comfort. When you become the entrepreneur, that SMS won't come, and on the other side, you will have to put your money. It's a double-edged sword. So you will have to invest your resources, and you will not draw any money. At least till the initial product market fit, or a VC is ready to tell you, or your board is ready to tell you, you are good to take money. So uh, I would, in a sense, agree to all the panelists here. There is no right or wrong in this. You have to feel the urge that it's a right time. In the case of DGV, it so happened that as a banker, I could clearly see a white space that dairy was India's largest crop in many ways, in the sense that India has three large crops: sugarcane, paddy, and wheat. They together don't collectively contribute as much to the India's agri GDP as much as dairy contributes. Dairy contributes 25% to India's agri GDP and only has 2% of its budgetary allocation. The second big thing which I saw was that dairy for a small and marginal farmer segment has the most steady cash flow. So as a banker, we value cash flows and cash flow based funding very much. I was like, why is it still underserved? So that is what interested me to pivot on this, and then the use cases around it gave me even more confidence that yes, we can double down our energy time on this. Once we were clear, okay, we want to double down, then we were hyper focused. We did not do sugarcane, we did not do rice, we did not do anything, though the platform can do. Today we run three platforms internally: a marketplace, a loan origination system, and a bespoke payment entire system, Pay, Money, and Connect. So it's a culmination of many experiences as to which reinforce time to time that yes, let's continue our focus, and then you just have to be at it. You have to keep flowing. You have to keep motivating yourself. You know, one critical thing which founders discount, but I'm sure subconscious level, all these founders must be doing, is that first, if you have to motivate your team, you have to first motivate yourself. You have to daily get up and say, you know, there is a reason to do this. And that's what will give you the courage to tell you know, the same thing to others. So it's not easy. It's absolutely not easy. It's not cakewalk. Please don't get swayed away by the Economic Times articles, you know, X raised this much, Y raised this much. In many ways, I echo what Gaurav, Ravinder, Smriti, Shikhar, Shreyas say. Don't select the right reason why you want to be an entrepreneur. It's not a fancy designation. Today, DGV has 130 employees. I have a responsibility towards them and their family. I have to ensure that the ship continues. So it's a larger responsibility. You have to understand that you are stepping into that shoe. So it's all you know, it's a sum of all that.
Thank you very much for this. And with this, we come to a close. Thank you all for sharing your valuable insights in the world of startups, sharing your journeys, sharing your experiences. I think the students have learned a lot from you, from your experiences. So with this, I will request Anish to take over and give the closing remarks.
So, thank you, everyone. So, dear founders, thank you for being part of our first ever Neev Founders Conclave. Your insights and participation played a crucial role in the success of the event. Many of us would like to have a startup down the line and to experience how it would feel like to have a startup. Many of us would like to join a startup. So it has been a very inspirational journey being part of this conclave, and it has been a motivating session for all of us. We would also like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our moderator, an esteemed IIM Kashipur alumnus, whose expertise and guidance significantly enhanced our discussion and interaction. Your collective experience enriched this conclave, and we hope it served as a valuable platform for connection and growth. We eagerly look forward to continued involvement in future Neev events. Thank you. Thank you. So, thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
founders.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Bye.
We would request the participants can leave now. Thank you, all the guests.